music producers. It's Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com, and you're watching another episode of Critique My Beats. This is the show where you submit your beats in and you get constructive criticism meant to help build up your empire and not burn your building down. What does that mean, Curtis? That means that you're not going to get criticism like, yo, beats a butt. You're trash, you need to go do something else, keep your day job, your drums are nipples. You'll never hear those coming from me. I'm here to help you build up what you're trying to get towards, whether it's the goals that you want to accomplish or just improve your overall mix. Either way, if you want to be on a future episode, go to CurtiqueMyBeats.com, look at the different tiers that we have available to you and see which one fits you best. We're not going to waste any time today. Today we're going to get to the first producer that I believe goes by the name of Gray CD. Now, if I be messing these names up, you know how it is sometimes. Look, I'm just reading what you give me. Sometimes you got to spell it out phonetically. He says, "Hi, Curtis King. First off, love your videos. I find them motivating. Thank you. Especially should rappers make their own beats, because I'm a 19-year-old rapper who produces my own and mixes my own raps and beats. Dope. I would love honest feedback before I put them on my EP. Thanks for the opportunity. Curtis the King." All right. So the first one is called Motivational Rap. Let's listen to this right now. Okay, great CD. So the first one is called Motivational Rap, and the first critique that I have for it, especially because I know that you're just getting started. You said you're mixing your own beats and your own raps. I know that we are just getting started, and I definitely see where sort of the amateurish aspect is in it, but we can still offer you critiques no matter what. So as I'm listening to it, the first thing that comes to mind is your sound selection, which is really every producer's problem in the very beginning. Your sound selection can make or break your beats. It's the difference between if somebody feels this or not, or whether they really believe the emotion being conveyed by the music, whether they're moved by the music. I think right now what you got to do, you got to become Oprah. When I say Oprah, I mean on her TV show, sometimes she points at everybody and the guests, all the people in the audience. She says, "You'll get a car, you get a TV." You need to go to all your sounds and be like, "You get Contact, you get Nexus, you get Salent, you get Serum." You need to find some upgraded sounds, and maybe you're working on a limited budget. I understand it. There's a lot of rent to own instruments that you can get, but you got to upgrade a lot. And I think it starts with your instrument choices, because as I listen to this with that violin, it can be a great idea, but it just sounds very synthetic. It sounds like the computerized version of a violin and not necessarily the real violin. And this is not to down what you're using. You just got to make sure that you upgrade those sounds. And I'm starting to be a lot more critical about people having drums that are not up to par, because there's free drum kits out there that definitely carry more weight than the snare drum did in this one. The kick, there's really not an excuse anymore. They got splice accounts and all that good stuff that have access to the best sounds around for $9.99 a month. And if you could afford this critique, you surely can afford to upgrade your sounds. That's where I will put the focus. I don't know whether or not to add this to your project. I don't know what the entire project sounds like. Maybe the rapping gives it another element, but I don't want to take you away from your sound. I want to make sure that you can improve upon what you're already building. I think it's some great melodic ideas. You just need to up the quality of what you have. So the second beat is called Warning Zone. Let's go ahead and listen to that right now. And producers, please only send me MP3s. These things take forever to load when they're waves. So just a tidbit. All right, let's listen to the second one, Warning Zone. Yes, my friend, great CD. Same critique that I have for the first one is the same one I have for this one. Gotta upgrade the sounds. I think that even if these beats are for you as an artist, your audience is still going to accept the whole thing as a full package, and you gotta make sure that these things are on point. This bass had a nice presence. I even liked how the melodies that you chose as sort of the chorus, you know, they accompanied each other well, but the quality is just gonna make it very difficult to listen to this for longer than a minute and a half. Like I listened to a minute, I didn't even listen to a minute and a half of this one, and not because it's terrible, it's just the fact that if I know these are not real instruments and I know they're imitation of that, all I can think about is sort of all the things that go into being somebody who's just getting started. I'm starting to think about you in the studio and thinking, are you struggling through these notes? And these are things you don't want the listener to be focused on. You want to wow them so much by the arrangements, the sound design, the musicality, unpredictability. These are things you're going to learn over time. You're only 19 getting started in it, but these are things that you're going to learn as you listen to your favorite record and see why is it that certain records have an effect on me and certain records don't have an effect on me. And as I listen to these beats, I can tell you immediately the biggest obstacle between you and, forget me, I'm just a producer and an artist. A music listener, the biggest obstacle is them feeling like there's no soul within the sounds, and there's soul in quality. There's soul in instrument choices. There's soul in sound selection. And when you start to understand that art form, and you start to realize, I see what Curtis means. I can't use these thin sounds and expect to have sort of a thick response, or like a heavy response. Somebody's not gonna hear this thin violin. It almost sounds like the SpongeBob SquarePants thinnest violin in the world. You're not gonna have an emotional response from people when you're trying to evoke emotion out of them without having higher quality sounds. That doesn't mean you need to get bigger keyboards. That don't mean you have to go out and get Omnisphere tomorrow. There's upgrades you can make along the way. Like I said, Synth is a great one to go up to. Nexus is good, especially if you're just getting started at the very beginning. Serum is definitely money, especially if you want to use these synthesizer sounds. I would go to that. But even Heat Up 2. Heat Up 2 was a good one. I did a video on Heat Up 2 a few weeks ago. You have some pretty cool melodic ideas, but the drums and the actual quality of those instruments is going to be an issue. So keep on pushing, my friend. Your Instagram is Gray, GRA.CD. Same thing for your SoundCloud. Thank you for sharing. Let's go to the next producer. The next producer is Prolifica Beats. You left us with a few links and no message. I'm saying, that's what I'm talking about. Get straight to the beast. That's what I'm talking about. God Beast Mode is the first beat we're gonna play. Let's listen to it.
Prolifica Beats.
Okay, Prolifica Beats. So the first one's called God Mode, and what I can say about that lead instrument, it's very inviting, it's very mysterious, it's very haunting. It's definitely something that has the right variation. It ends on a period and not on a question mark, which I think is really important when you're putting together these melodic lines. This is really dope. I like the vibe of this beat. I would say the first critiques that I have, the mix on the kick, I think could have been more thumpier. I like the clap, especially because a lot of beats in modern sound are using those claps, and they add a different kind of bounce. So I really appreciated that. Also too, the string that you used, I think here's the thing about using strings sometimes. Strings are such dynamic sounds that they end up taking a lot of space within many different frequencies to become effective. Like if you cut off the high frequencies, you're missing some of the most cleanest and pristine parts of the strings. If you cut the low end, you're missing some of the depth that string brings to a beat. So they're a little bit tricky to mess around with. So what I generally do is I run it through a reverb to really give it more space and make it more aury, like more weightless and less harsh. You know, it just feels like it's just kind of like hovering around the mix and not necessarily trying to be the front of the mix. And the reason why that's an issue is because when you add vocals to this, they're gonna have to do a lot of sort of pushing that string frequency out of the way so the vocals can have some space. But either way, I think that was a dope beat. I like the transitions. I like the sound design that you applied to that one. Let's go to the second one, which is In This Mood. Yo, this beat was fire, bro. This is a record. This is somebody's record you're sitting on right now. Prolifica Beats. No Smoke is the one. I definitely would see about getting placement for this one. I would definitely see about putting this up for leasing. I don't know if you sell your beats. I don't see a link here for that, but this is one of those beats that you can sort of ride for a long time if you're leasing, because this beat has so much space for an artist to maneuver in. The 808 sound nice, the drum work sounds nice, the arrangement sounds nice, that synth melody, that doom, 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 doom. I love that you went and you made that happen, because if that didn't happen, my first critique would have been that the lead sound that you start off with is way too monotonous, that it's just looping around, looping around, looping around. There's nothing special about it. But when you bring that other synthesizer in, it starts to embed memories inside the listener's head. Like, no, I don't want that beat. I want this beat, that one, that No Smoke one, because there's a little synth part on there where I can do like some melodies along with that. Like, there's many things that artists can do depending on the tools that you give them as a producer. As a producer, when you think about arranging your beats, you got to think in your mind, this part sounds a bit empty. Maybe if I add something that I can hear a rapper singing or a singer singing on, this can be a special part for them. Timbaland used to talk about doing songs where basically he would have a beat that's full and then he would add like these melodies on top of it, hoping that a singer could imitate those melodies, and then he would have a full song already done before the singer got to it. And by the time the beat got to the singer and they found the melody of that extra melody he played, he would remove that melody, and then now the song sounds completely cohesive. Why? Because it was already a song before the lyrics got put down to it. So when I listen to this, those little parts there add something special, and that's a banger to me. Like, I'm trying to think of other critiques. To me, that's a banger. Probably the mix is probably going to get better as time goes on, especially specifically with that kick. I would have liked to see that kick shaped a little bit tighter, but I don't have too many things to say about this one. This one was fire, bro. So thank you for sharing that. Your Twitter is twitter.com, Prolifica Beats. Facebook, Prolifica Beats. And then you got your YouTube here. I'm gonna subscribe to you, bro. Boom, you're 42nd subscriber, my friend. So thank you for sharing. Let's go to the next producer. All right. Vavivast. Hey, first of all, thank you very much for all the free and amazing content you give us. You are a great entrepreneur, dope producer, and a genuine person. Thank you, friend. I wish you and your beautiful family all the best. Aww. Looking forward to hearing your honest critique on this beat. Have a great week. Thank you, my friend. So you left us with one beat called Decision. Lele into it. Vavivast, or Vavivast, or however you say it. Oh my God. Ugh. So let me take you to through my train of thought. When I first heard the intro, this is the beautiful thing about doing these critiques. I never know what I'm going to expect. It's producers from around the world who have varying sounds, and I think that's the exciting part about Critique My Beats, even if your beat's not being played. As I'm listening to this, I'm just like, where in the hell is this intro getting ready to go? It sounded like it's about to be some EDM. I don't know, like not bad EDM, but like some down tempo, something crazy. And I was like, I don't know where this is going. And then the drop happens. And then the 808s come in. And then the snare, the little nasty, everything was mixed nicely. I think the bass might be taking over too much of the frequencies, but there's a lot of stank on this one. There's a lot of attitude on this one. That's what I love about it. I immediately hear like Travis Scott and Schoolboy Q on the same song on this one. Babe, you would have loved this one. This one was fire. I like this one. 2 fire beats in a row. Yo, Vavivast. I wish you would have left us with some information, man, but jump in those comments and let people know. Like, usually links that get shared within my comments automatically go to spam, but if you put a link in there, I'll approve it so people can get to you, fam. This is too fire. Oh my God. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like I said, just tighten up that 808, make it a little bit less prevalent, and I think you got something on your hands here. I would definitely be looking to lease this beat. I would even go through some crazy sound design, turn it into like a 2-minute beat, put it up on DistroKid and start distributing this. Call it something crazy and just have people go listen to it. Put your tag in a few times, have people go listen to it. This is a dope ass beat, man. So thank you for sharing it. Let's go to the next producer. Zona Jetson. Hi, Curtis. I just realized I didn't provide a warm intro in my last email. First of all, thank you for everything you do for shedding light upon up-and-coming producers who are trying to make this thing a full-time thing. I'm a producer from Houston and have been making beats for a little minute now. Mixing is my strong point, but I'm trying to get better, slowly but surely. And I would really appreciate your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 2 attached beats. They're different styles, but I like to think I'm pretty diverse. All of the social media is there. My website, zonajetson.com. All right, let's listen to the ones you got attached. The first one's called With a Splash of Coke. Ooh. Oh, Zona Jetson, almost, my friend, almost. I was really enjoying those vibes until that chorus came in. That chorus came in a bit harsh. I think you have like a saxophone or whatever. I was really vibing with this one. I was hoping also too that oddball back drum that you had, like the oddball, you didn't stop on a snare. You didn't do boom, 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 boom. When you just use it, boom, boom, boom. Like that was a very interesting switch up. But at some point in time, I think people are waiting for, they're anticipating, when is this going to drop? When is this going to fall through? When am I going to hear something that's just going to blow me away? And this is the part where it builds up momentum. That verse needs some momentum in the last 8 bars. Right now, you are teasing, but it's time to get to the point. Show them where the drop comes in. And that chorus, I was actually going to say, I think you should add more instruments to accompany that lead, but I don't think you need to add that many within. Everything feels like it just got cluttered towards the chorus. Add some keys, some piano keys, some Rode keys around the corners of the mix. Don't have to add everything right there in the center, because at some point vocals are going to be applied to this. So find out some very subtle ways. That to me is the genius of Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, so many people try to say, oh, his beats are simplistic. No, they're strategic. There's certain pockets he finds and he says, okay, I'm gonna add this synthesizer here, I'm gonna add the sound effect here, and every sound becomes memorable. Every sound becomes purposeful. And so that's, as I'm hearing here, I'm like, there's things that you could have did. Towards the chorus though, I just think that it just got really cluttered. I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I heard enough to where it's like, you're gonna have to pull some of that back, especially if you want to talk about, you said mixing is not your strong point, but that's my particular critique. So let's listen to the other beat, which is called Carry It Out. Zona Jetson. Again with the beats that never drop. Man, we need to get that drop. I feel like you have such great melodic ideas. They're waiting on it. They're waiting on that drop to come in, where the hi-hat start getting busy, where the snare finally says, I'm gonna stop teasing you, because it sounded like a long intro right now. It sounded like the build-up, like when you go to a show and you see somebody that has a long intro and it's like, and everybody's like getting around in the mosh pit and they're like, oh, this is my song, I can't wait for it to drop. But the whole beat does that. So they would be getting anticipation, the whole mosh pit, and nothing would ever actually happen. So you gotta add that extra snare, you gotta add that backbeat that really signifies, look, this is the part that we gain momentum. This is the reason why music has such an emotional effect on us, because we find different places to speed it up, slow it down. Even in slow and depressing songs, there are parts where the momentum picks up, the momentum slows down. It's the roller coaster ride of a song and instrumental. Low boy. And I think that that's what it's missing. I think melodically this one was mixed a lot better than the last one, in that when it came to the chorus, there was no clutter. Everything just sounded like a beautiful trap masterpiece. But it's hurting, because I'm like, man, if we would have had that drop, this would be a whole nother feeling. That's when people go from, all right, let's get it to, whoo, that's why when you see me doing this, when I'm listening, I'm waiting for that snare to come in so that I have that momentum to go vibing with you. But right now, both of these beats sound like long intros, and you got to let that beat come in. You got to let people feel that. But either way, thank you for sharing. Your website is zonajetson.com. Here you go. All right, so that's the last producer of the night. Music producers, thank you for submitting your beats and being a part of the latest episode of Critique My Beats. If you would like to be on a future episode, please visit CURTIQUEMyBeats.com. Get yourself situated, look at the 3-tier system we have, see which category works the best for you for the needs that you have as a music producer. We were trying to get to you as soon as possible. Either way, you producers are ultra talented. I'm so excited to be able to listen to your beats. It's like a Russian roulette of what am I going to listen to next. I really enjoyed. I hope you see my energy going up now that I'm a father that's finally getting some rest and some sleep. Thank you, Nas. Anyways, this is Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com. Peace. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com.